You know those moments when you fall into a creative zone, you get hyper focused into what you're creating, you forget about everything else, and somehow you're able to keep creating new ideas and keep progressing. These are the most valuable moments for us producers and creatives. This is where we make our best work and improve our sound the most. Really, how we think of it is the more we're able to get into the creative zone means the better music we're gonna make, and the more we can make of it, and better music along with getting it out there should lead to placements and money. In today's video, we're going to show you exactly how we get into these creative zones and what to do when you can't seem to get in one and you're sitting there at your computer looking at it, overthinking. Alright, give up or not give up?
Give up.
Stick around to the end as we're not only going to explain this to you, but actually put it into action and show you how we hopefully enter a creative zone later on in the video by following the advice you're about to hear. Let's get into it.
Alright, the first and definitely most important step of this whole entire process of getting into the creative zone is just starting. Now, this sounds just simple and honestly just stupid, but if you think about the amount of times where you've said to yourself, alright, tomorrow I'm gonna make some music, or later tonight I'm gonna make some music, and then you just don't even end up making music. That's so many wasted opportunities that you could have had to make music, to make something sick, a cool idea that just never happened. So literally just sitting down at your computer, opening up FL, Logic, whatever door you're on, and just starting something is what's gonna get the ball rolling. Some days starting is just super easy, you want to make some music and you just get right into it. But other days, making music and just sitting down can be the absolute last thing you want to do. But even if you're having one of those days, maybe it could be tomorrow, that does not mean that you can't get into the creative zone and make some sick music. Sometimes you can make the best music on those days where you just absolutely don't feel like making music at all. It's very rare that a spark of motivation will actually get you to your laptop and get you to make something right then and there. Lots of the time, the inspiration will just come from you sitting down at the laptop. You might play a chord, you might pull in a little sample or a starter, and then it's there. 95% of the time, you need to be there actively trying to make something for that inspiration to hit and get into that creative zone. So step one is just showing up and just starting.
Sometimes it's good to have different resources to give you inspiration to start on an idea. It is important that whenever you see inspiration, whenever you find something that you like, you save these bits of curiosity in different areas so that when you come to cook up, you have things that you found cool in the past that you can just go off of when you're looking to start something. So this could be as simple as using voice memos on your iPhone. I use this multiple times a week, whether it's I've been playing around with a guitar and I made something that sounds cool, so I capture that in the moment, or it's I'm outside and there's a real cool ambience of birds and it sounds like a cool texture, so I'll hit record for maybe a minute. And then I can use that in my creation when I go to make music. Spotify playlist, saving songs you find cool. So if you can't come up with an idea, you go on Spotify, start listening to a bit of music. That could spark the idea. Let's get some inspiration, bro. Let's play some tunes.
I need to hold a corner.
Or sometimes it's even you've heard a cool type beat. So you keep that tab open and then it's there ready for when you go to make music. So you may just be able to use that as inspiration. Sometimes it's even on your Instagram, you hear something cool, so you screen record it, save it for later if you're out of the house and you're not near the studio. And even exporting sounds while you're in the middle of a project that you think, whoa, that sounds cool, but it's definitely not gonna fit in the current project. So you export it for later and you can build this little folder of ideas that are perfect to use when you're going to create. So really by doing all this stuff, whenever you are ready to cook up, if there's no current idea, you now have a bunch of inspiration to go off that you thought sounded cool. And this is a great way to develop your taste and develop your sound and hopefully speed up your process when going to create. Next, entering the creative zone or failing to enter it and then having to try different things. Ideally, and what most commonly happens is once we've started something, once we've committed to actually getting into something, attempted something for maybe 5, 10, even 15 minutes, sometimes that's all it takes and you'll be in the creative zone. You would have stumbled across an idea, something that gives you the spark, and then you're away. The only thing you need to do there is just keep creating, not get distracted. And hopefully by the end of that, you'll have some sort of final product, a beat, a sample, maybe even a song. That's the ideal situation. The other scenario is you've been trying things for 5, 10, 15 minutes and nothing seems to be clicking. You haven't got that spark yet. If this happens, you can either give up, which of course we're going to avoid doing, but the best thing you can do is to try other stuff.
So here are some different ways you can go about trying to get into that creative zone. Firstly, we've just got try some new sounds, pull in a new VST, use some stock sounds from your DAW, use some one-shots, just anything that's new and fresh and you're not already hearing over and over again. Secondly, try a different genre. Whether you turn your existing idea into something completely different and flip it into a new genre, or just simply trying to create new layers in a different style to what you are already making. Thirdly, start with some drums. Just get a drum bounce down. I'm going to just go off a perk bounce thing. This is just a great way to make whatever you're doing sound a lot better, and it can also just give you perspective with where you want the sample or beat in general to go. Sometimes you can have 10 drum layers just playing over and over again with no melodic element, and all of a sudden I'll just be able to hear some chords being played, so I'll throw that in, and then bang, you're in the creative zone. And then just stop there. If for some reason you just can't seem to create anything at all, just go sample digging on YouTube. One, you might just get exposed to some cool music where you might get some inspiration from anyway. But secondly, you can grab a cool sample, chop it up, reverse it, and just flip it in whatever way you want. If you're yet to just get into that creative zone, sample digging is worth a shot. Alternatively, just listening to music. If you've got that Spotify playlist where you've got some inspiration there, go over listen to that. Watch a video, watch a song or beat breakdown from something that you like, a producer you look up to, see how they're making their stuff. You can check out a Genius Deconstructed beat, or there's a new channel Off Top where these big producers just play their favorite beats. Sometimes those things just get you super inspired because you can see first person what some of the top and your favorite producers are currently making. Or even just going into a creative bank if you have one, anything in voice memos, random ideas you've saved to a folder. And lastly, and there's something for FL Studio users, there may be something similar on other doors. So when you go down into the search bar down the bottom left in FL, you can type in consolidated and then you get every single thing you've ever consolidated. This is something I use a lot, and you just drag in random layers, chop them up, and the best part is you've made everything in there. You could literally try typing in anything and it'll just scan your whole computer. You go vocals, guitar, you might need to try different things, track 2, and everything that you've consolidated from track 2 will just pop up for the past 3 years of making music. There's almost like a mini customized personal splice of all your sounds that you can go again and flip again in your new music.
And so you didn't get the spark, but you tried one of those things that Sean mentioned. So now you're back on track, and hopefully you're back into that creative zone, and then you can continue till there's no more inspiration. However, if you don't, then you need to go back, try more things, and repeat. The way we think of it is there's always inspiration out there. You do just need to go and find it, or you need to put yourself in the place where inspiration is going to find you by doing all those things. So you got into the creative zone, it was going well, and all of a sudden you hit the creative obstacle. You start to kind of lose that spark. I'm sure this has all happened to you. Suddenly you notice you've become less focused, and you start to get in your head, you start to think a bit more. You go, I don't know what to add next. Is this even good? Or you check the time, you check your phone, you check your emails. And this is a point in the creative process where you can completely get lost and exit that zone completely, which you may have still made something cool, but you never know that if you just went that step further, completed what you were working on, it could have been something really good. So when you get to this point, you hit the obstacle, there's kind of 3 options. Option 1, go back, try a bunch of different methods, throw stuff at the wall, see if something sticks. Hopefully you can enter the zone. Secondly, save the project for later. It's a little more risky than the first option, as there are times when you save stuff and you never come back to it. But there's other times when you save something and you do come back to it multiple times in the next few days, and it actually benefits the project. You end up making it sound a lot better. And third is exporting it as a starter or an idea. You know, sometimes you've gone through that creative zone and then you've lost the spark, and it's cool, but you're not really feeling it anymore. And sometimes at that point, it's good to export as a starter or an idea for you to come back to later, or maybe you send that to someone and they can continue it, but it's likely that it could be used somewhere else, even if you don't finish it right now. So with those 3 things, you should be able to solve this point where you're not sure what to do and get the most out of what you've just created. So now we're going to put this into action. We're going to cook up. Can you be asked cooking up?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah? Oh, good. All right, let's start. How do we start? Let's check voice memos. There's like a particular way of processing this. So like, it would be more like sample material to make, probably. I don't know. That's a nice sound, actually.
Honestly, as long as you just get there, as long as you... How'd you get that like pluck sound? So put it up in like that. Alright, no, wait, no.
What do we do this? Creeper.
Did we record that in on voice memos?
Yeah. Like that sounds good. What?
Yeah.
We're gonna finish that off later probably, but that was a pretty cool little idea from nothing, man.
So remember, in order to get into a creative zone, you really just need to just sit down there and start with something just like we did there. Whether you have an existing idea or not, you need to get into these creative zones as often as possible over the coming days, weeks, and years into your music career. So go get into a creative zone and go cook up some crazy music. And if you want to see us in our creative process, doing a full cook up from scratch, going in and out of creative zones, watch this video here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.